The film begins with a man rushing across the white snow, occasionally looking back anxiously, as if something terrifying was following him. Who would have thought that in the next moment, he would be suddenly pushed to the ground by a strong force? When the man opened his eyes again, a fierce face appeared before his eyes. He closed his eyes in despair, and the memory of that fateful night 9 years ago immediately flashed through his mind. At that time, Patrick and his wife were sitting on a bus in Silly Town. Because of the zombie virus outbreak nationwide, residents were escorted by the military to quarantine Gray. Suddenly, the bus in front stopped for no reason. A soldier accompanying them asked everyone not to act rashly and got out of the bus to check himself. The cold darkness was torn apart by the flashlight. Everyone in the bus was tensely staring out the window. However, the soldier still hadn't returned after waiting for a long time. A comrade in the bus noticed something unusual. Just as they were about to get off to check, a terrifying zombie suddenly appeared. All the passengers screamed in panic. Only Patrick and his neighbor Jack rushed out, trying to push the zombie off the bus. Through the window they saw it leave. Jack quickly jumped off the bus, intending to take out the rifle on the soldier. But he did not expect the virus to spread so quickly. The infected soldier suddenly opened his eyes. Although Jack promptly shot and killed the enemy, the gunshots attracted more zombies. He didn't have time to get in the car and could only curl up and hide under the car, while Patrick was in the bus trying to hold the door tightly. He heard his wife's voice and instinctively let go, causing the door to be immediately broken open by the zombie. The entire bus was filled with panicked people. Zombies continuously rushed in. They had no place to hide. The bus quickly became a bloody slaughterhouse. Fortunately, at that moment, someone broke the bus window, helping some passengers quickly escape. Unfortunately, Patrick and his wife got separated in the chaos on the street. Patrick's wife hugged her child and hid in a car. She held her breath and didn't dare to make a sound. But the child's cries still attracted a zombie. Patrick's wife desperately used all her strength to protect her child. Fortunately, Jack ran over in time, finally saving the poor mother and child. At this time, Patrick also ran over. Seeing that the child was safe and sound, he was about to breathe a sigh of relief when he discovered her arm had been bitten by a zombie. To prevent the infection, Patrick brutally cut off his wife's injured arm. Although he saved her life, Patrick has lived in pain and torment ever since. He believes that it was his negligence that caused the zombies to attack the bus and kill many neighbors. Seeing the number of survivors around him decreasing, Patrick gradually lost all hope in life. The last time he went to find necessities, he and his wife had a few arguments, so he left her and left alone. Unexpectedly, after turning his back for a moment, his wife was tragically bitten to death by a zombie. From then on, Patrick became depressed. He even ignored her daughter. Jack couldn't continue to look at him like that. He scolded Patrick for not being qualified to raise a child, then resolutely took the child away and left Jack alone. In the blink of an eye, 9 years had passed. Perhaps due to the influence of the zombie virus, the global climate had changed drastically. The 4 seasons were now only cold and white snow. During those 9 years, Jack and Patrick, although still neighbors, did not speak to each other. The baby that day has now become a little girl. Because Jack took her away when she was young, she did not know that Patrick was her biological father, and Patrick did not dare to reveal the truth. Perhaps because of guilt, all these years, he only dared to secretly use binoculars to peek at his daughter at night. Because he had not taken care of himself for a long time, Patrick now looked like a lonely old man. On the contrary, Jack was a much better father. He always made sure Lucy was kept warm and had 3 meals a day. On his daughter's birthday, Jack carefully prepared a special gift, which was a photo of Lucy's mother when she was young. The little girl curiously asked about her mother's death and whether zombies really existed. Jack told her that zombies did appear, but now they had completely disappeared in the harsh cold. Patrick still remembered his daughter's birthday. He tried to make a beautiful birthday cake, but because of his inferiority complex and distance, and finally let it be fed to the dog. That night, Lucy was sleeping when a strange noise woke her up. She took a lamp to the window to take a look, and discovered a strange creature with exposed fangs. Its distorted face was wandering in the yard. She had never seen a zombie before. Lucy was so scared that she hid under the bed all night. The next morning, she went out to the yard to check on the situation, and just happened to see Patrick taking the dog out. Their eyes met, and Patrick stood there, stunned. This was the first time in 9 years that the father and daughter had faced each other at such a close distance. Patrick was about to say something when Jack suddenly ran out, shouting at Patrick to leave, even threatening to kill his dog. Lucy stood aside, not knowing what to do. Patrick calmed down, and finally helplessly turned around and left. That afternoon, he went to the town supermarket to look for necessities. Suddenly, the dog stood still and looked into the distance. Patrick held a flashlight and shone it on him, and a gray-white zombie rushed over. He was so scared that he trembled and hurriedly ran out of the supermarket. After closing the door, he found that the dog was still barking. Patrick immediately called the dog and quickly left the scene together. Patrick stepped on the gas pedal and accelerated to the maximum, afraid that the zombies would break the iron gate and catch up with him. But he didn't notice the fallen tree branch blocking the way. When he woke up, he saw the pale face of a zombie right in front of him. Strangely, it did not attack but was attracted by the noise coming from a nearby cave. Patrick immediately understood, guessing that maybe the climate change had caused the zombies to lose their sight. He quickly put the sled back on and hurried home. From afar, he saw Jack instructing Lucy on shooting. Patrick anxiously shouted for the two to quickly return home. But it was his shout that attracted the zombies' attention again. Jack stood at the other end of the street, witnessing Patrick being knocked down by a zombie. Lucy kept shouting for him to shoot, but Jack did not pull the trigger. Instead, the dog rushed to bite the zombie. When the zombie was distracted, Patrick immediately opened fire. Although the zombie was injured and ran away, the dog was gone. Patrick had lost his only friend. He was in great pain. In addition, being bitten by a zombie himself made him think of killing himself. But he could not do it. The only thing Patrick could do was sit by the walkie-talkie and whisper his confession. But like many times before, he still received no response from the other side. Meanwhile, Lucy next door was still blaming Jack for standing by and not helping. Jack was helpless in his subconscious. He was always afraid that Patrick would take Lucy away from him. Jack thought of a way to apologize to his daughter. He specially found a bouquet of fake flowers to bring back as a gift. Unexpectedly, that very night, Lucy took the bouquet of flowers to the yard to commemorate the 100th day of adopting the dog. Suddenly, the zombie appeared silently. The poor girl was so scared that she didn't know what to do, and was immediately knocked down by the zombie. Jack heard the noise and rushed out, dangerously pressing the zombie to the ground, punching it more than a dozen times in a row. Seeing the zombie lying still, he rushed over to check on Lucy. Unexpectedly, a gunshot rang out. The zombie that had just jumped up was shot down. Surprisingly, Patrick was not transformed. In a fit of suspicion, Patrick cut off the zombie's hand and tied it up in the backyard. After a few hours of observation, he discovered that the zombies had now evolved, with sharper claws and teeth, and their wounds healed very quickly. But the good news was that they seemed to have lost the ability to transmit the virus. The proof was that Patrick was bitten but not infected. Perhaps Lucy would be fine if she was scratched. Patrick decided to keep the zombie to continue monitoring. After this side-by-side fight, Jack finally stopped avoiding Patrick. Lucy also took the opportunity to invite Patrick over to play. Hearing the news, he bathed himself inside and out, and even shaved and cut his hair neatly. When Patrick appeared again, Jack almost didn't recognize him. Perhaps because of their natural bloodline, Lucy and Patrick had countless things to talk about. Jack hadn't seen his daughter so happy for a long time. Gradually, he let go of his prejudices. Having another person care about Lucy wasn't a bad thing. That night, they decided to leave this place to find another survivor camp. They didn't want Lucy's childhood to be without friends. Early the next morning, the three of them got in the car and left town. When they passed by the old supermarket, they stopped to collect more supplies. After getting ready, they just walked out of the supermarket and accidentally found a woman standing on the side of the road. She seemed to have just experienced a great shock. Her mind was in a panic. The three of them had to take her home to take care of her. It wasn't until late afternoon that the woman gradually regained consciousness. Her name was Mary. Before that, when she and her family were looking for shelter, they were suddenly attacked by zombies. In the end, she was the only one left alive. At that moment, a zombie's growl suddenly rang out outside. Patrick explained that the zombie was tied up and was no longer dangerous. But Mary suddenly grabbed the gun, rushed out to the garden and shot the zombie to death. She told Patrick and Jack that the cry just now was the sound of a zombie calling its pack. Her family had also been besieged to death because of that cry. The three of them quickly went back into the house. They nailed all the windows shut and searched for all the guns and ammunition they could use. Not long after, the sound of hurried footsteps rang out outside the door. The zombies had finally arrived. Jack told Lucy to go down to the shelter. But as soon as she closed the door, she discovered that there was already a zombie in the shelter. Fortunately, The zombie couldn't see her. Lucy held her breath and threw the doll into the iron box. When the zombie rushed after her, she quickly locked the lid, temporarily escaping. The battle had already begun above. The three of them desperately tried to resist, but under the constant pressure, the weak defense line was quickly broken. Who knows how many zombies had flooded into the house? At the critical moment, Mary turned on the music player. The loud music caused the zombies who were sensitive to sound to become confused. The three of them took the opportunity to counterattack fiercely and finally destroyed the zombies in the house. But that was not the end. More and more zombies gathered in the yard. In no time, the ammunition was almost exhausted. At that moment, the house's walkie-talkie rang out. There was a survivor concentration camp 50 miles away. Patrick was shocked when he heard this. With the current situation, they could not retreat with their lives. Zombies could break the door at any moment. Finally, Patrick decided that he would lure the zombies away, while Jack took Mary and Lucy to start the car. Before taking action, Patrick tearfully said goodbye to Lucy. He didn't say much, just told her to remember to brush her teeth before going to bed. The next moment, Patrick lit the flare and rushed out. Countless zombies immediately rushed over, quickly surrounding Patrick. At the last moment, Patrick recalled the time when his wife was pregnant. Perhaps that was the happiest moment of his life. On the other side, Jack had already put Lucy and Mary in the car, and quickly drove out of town. Near dawn, Lucy opened her eyes wide with excitement. The sun finally appeared after many days, signaling new hope for humanity. Above is the entire content of the genocide movie. Although it is an old movie but still very good. If you enjoyed the video and would love to see more from this channel, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.